Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we got a different kind of video. And also, if I sound like absolute dog crap right now, it's because I feel like absolute dog crap. But if you look on the screen, we have a special guest in this lobby. You may have seen by the title that when a celebrity appears in a match, funny things happen. And you may have thought, well, Spartan, like, we all know you're in every video, so weird things happen. No. I'm not talking about me. I don't consider myself a celebrity. I just know that a lot of people know me in the game. But we have a real celebrity on the enemy team. And it's none other than the Sailing Robin. And we both just happen to be in destroyers in this fight. Legendary tier destroyers. So who is going to come out on top? Now, most of you probably get into a match like this and it's just another match or whatever. When I get into a match against another content creator or somebody like Robin who went from being a content creator to a worker for wargaming and still does content but it's on a different scale, like the very first thing I think of is I don't want to be in his video. Right? And I know, actually, he didn't even notice that I was in this one, apparently, according to him. And that just hurts my feelings, Robin, okay? It hurts. All right? The first thing I want people to notice when they see the lobby is, oh my God, Spartan Elite's in the lobby. Because that's what everybody thinks, right? No. Anyway, so he didn't even notice I was in this game. But I noticed he was in the game right away because it's not very often that I go up against celebrities. But anyway, so the first thing goes through my mind is I don't want to end up in his video. So I'm going to do everything in my power to bring the victory home for my team and make a video of my own. Right? That's the goal. And right now you guys are thinking, oh God, we're seeing the video. Oh my God, the controller disconnected. Why does my Xbox freaking Pro controller, whatever, I spent like $160 on this controller. It still does this. It's annoying as crap, Xbox. Fix it. Seriously. Good God. Anyway, back to where I was saying, you guys probably seeing this and going, oh my God, Spartan got his videos, so this should be good. Can't wait to see the epic showdown between Robin and Spartan. And honestly, you're right, this is going to be good. Now, the first thing we notice is there's a Kaaba here. Now, I have started adjusting what I do with the Holland here. And one of those is, I'm not as necessarily afraid to fight here. Now, notice the Kaaba is trying to dodge torpedoes. We're going to go ahead and start pumping the armor piercing in through that thing as best we can. We're not getting the best damage, unfortunately, but we're getting some solid damage. We're knocking out screws. We're doing all the good things, right? Like we are doing everything in our power. Now, he launches his torpedoes in our direction, and I'm like, okay, well, we will be okay here. They'll probably run out before they get to us. Question mark. Oh my God! They did not run out. Thank God I didn't trust that. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and shoot a couple shots in the direction of the Shimakaze. And the first thing you're going to notice is we've already lost the destroyer. And don't worry, it gets much, much worse. It's not just that we've already lost the destroyer, but my team is going to fold like a, I don't know what you call it. Like, this team is going to look like that sandcastle that was built by, like, the 8-year-old that was a little too close to the ocean because he really wanted that wet sand because it packs real nice, but he didn't realize that physics is a thing, and when water comes up out the ocean, it washes the sand away. That's what my team is here, as we're already down 3 ships, and we're 2 minutes into the match. This should set the tone of how you figure this game is going to go. Now, here, I have to try to make some decisions. We got choices to make, right? Like, how am I going to make anything happen if my entire team is dead already? A third of my team has already been wiped out in the first 2 minutes of the match. How am I going to bring this one back? Well, the answer is just do what you can, right? Like, that's the end goal here. And the beauty of the Holland is these torpedoes are really, really fast, and they do tend to reload the torps pretty quickly, and the guns are decent enough, and it's got decent enough concealment. I wouldn't say that this is the top destroyer at legendary tier. As a matter of fact, I think it's probably one of the weaker destroyers, but it is fun, and it is a challenge. And you can see I'm like, okay, that Shima has already lost a third of his health. He's against our Shima. Our Shima should win that fight. Plus, there's a battleship there that should help. So I'm going to get in a fight with a Kaaba. Now, most of the time, you're going to go, oh my God, you should definitely not get in a fight with a Kaaba in a destroyer. But when a Kaaba is willing to sail broadside and you load up the armor piercing, it is hilarious how fast you can melt them. And so we finish him off relatively quickly and take very little damage in the process, which is ideal as we land a torpedo hit on one of the battleships. Okay, so we are doing things, and you can see our Shima has decided that he doesn't want to engage that Shima, despite being on a better footing than the Shima was. A lot of Shima players just aren't used to gunfights. They don't understand that they have very good guns as well, and when you're in a situation where you have the hit point advantage and nobody else is there to help his teammate, he could easily just win that fight, but they're not confident in their gunfighting abilities, so they just simply don't do it. They just run away, they drop their smoke, they disappear and try to torp. That's what Shima players do. And this isn't a knock on all Shima players. Obviously, there are some of them, like me, who go out of their way to make sure that I am using every tool at my disposal. But as you can see, we're about to lose the Heisen as well. Unfortunately, he manages to eat all the torpedoes from the Shimakaze on that side as well, which is another reason why, as the Shima player over there, you got to finish that fight. You cannot let that guy live. You know how dangerous the Shima is. Now, as you can see, we're at the 9.5-minute mark, and there are 3 people left in this team. And right now you're going, either this is about to be the greatest replay I have ever seen on Spartan's channel, or something weird is going on here. And so y'all are probably like salivating. You're like, I don't know how Spartan's going to turn this around. I'm interested to find out. You can see Sailing Robin's over there grabbing the alpha cap right now. He manages to win that side, so I'm already doubling back to try to help the one battleship I got left, because the Shima doesn't need help. He's hiding at the back of the map. So we're just going to keep trying to whittle away at these battleships with these fast reloading torpedoes. I don't want to be shooting my guns prematurely here because there's a lot of firepower looking at me. They got nothing better to shoot at. So getting into a gunfight at these ranges with 2 battleships probably not going to end in my favor, right? So here, I just bide my time. I use my concealment. We got to watch for the island off our bow. But once we get into this situation, I'm going to try to spread the love on the 2 battleships, because what are the odds that they both end up dodging, right? Like, you send one rack at one, or if you send both racks at one guy, he makes one move, he dodges all the racks, right? Whereas if you send a rack at one guy and a rack at the other, there's a good chance that one of them is not going to change course. And fortunately for me, we do actually manage to catch this Repub who's already been flooding with a couple of torpedoes. So he's not long for this world. And we don't end up scoring another flood because he ends up using his damage control. So, because we know he uses his damage control, we know that now's the time to strike. While his damage control is on cooldown, we need to get a fire, finish this man off if we're going to have any hope of finishing this match. Now, unfortunately, he is loaded, and as I said, at these ranges, trying to get in a fight with a Repub and another battleship is not an ideal scenario, especially when they know that all they have to fight is a couple of destroyers and they're loading armor or high explosives. But we dodged most of the rounds. We do get the fire we wanted. We've got a Shima on our left, and we've got Robin on my right. This is a bad situation, and Robin, he's in the daring, so he's got the better armor piercing to get into this fight with. So you can see, at this point, I am like resigning myself. I'm like, you know what, we're going to go down. We might as well go down fighting Robin. At least, if anything else, we can maybe somehow pull this fight out. Now, I go dark here because I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's a chance. With the speed of these torpedoes, there's a puncher's chance that we can actually pull this off. Unfortunately, we only get one rack out because they destroyed my other torpedo tube. What are the odds? I just have the worst luck when it comes to these kinds of matches. But we do manage to burn down the Repub. He fires his gun one more time in angst. We load up the armor piercing because I wanted to test. Again, it's not always about like just doing the optimal play. Sometimes you got to test and see what works. And we know that the AP worked pretty well against the Kaba, but the Kaba was a bad player, and Robin is not. And you can see we are getting a lot of overpins, not able to get those full pins that I was hoping for. And we weren't able to catch him with a torpedo either. Again, daring has sonar, but that's the end of our game. And I hope you guys enjoyed this first match. I'm going to go ahead and splice in a second match for you guys because I just thought you guys would enjoy seeing this. Because sometimes you just don't have a chance. And this was one of those. 2 enemies died, and they were both killed by me. The rest of the team they might as well have just been AFK because they didn't really accomplish anything meaningful as a team. But our Shima does manage to kill somebody right at the end. He should have probably done that about, 10 minutes ago, but, whatever. He ends up killing somebody right at the end of the game, but we end up losing anyway. 90,000 damage, but look at the results. Come on, show us the results, Spartan. As you're about to see, yeah, we're top of the leaderboard, shocker. 1,139 base XP, and yeah, no one anywhere near that on my team. So, let's get into the second match. Now, this match is going to be a much more fun match to watch. Other than, like, you know, the previous match having everybody just collapse around us. There's not much you can do. I don't care how good you are at the game. And we all know that I'm above average. That's it. Like, I never claimed to be anywhere near the tops. And Robin is a great player, as he pulled out a 3,700 base XP game from his side of the map. But, again, it comes down to having people that can actually be useful around you as well. And his team didn't play poorly at all. Maybe his Kaba did, but other than that, his team didn't really play poorly. He was just able to have some teammates that stuck around longer than 4 minutes into the match. But this one's going to be a fun one. We're going to go right down to the end. This is going to be a battle to bring things back. This is the clutch Holland. All right, now, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't, like I said in the previous match, I don't consider the Holland top tier at Legendary. Like, it's just not. It struggles in the carrying capacity. That being said, it's a very fun challenge ship. And I'll tell you what, for those of us who've been playing the game for a long time, and there are a lot of people that have way more games played than I do, all right? There are some people out there. I think Big B just put up that he hit 30,000 games played on his channel. Holy mother of God. How do you play this game that much without just throwing somebody into the volcano, Big B? I gotta know. I'll tag him into the video to just see what his reaction is to that. If you don't know, Big B's from Hawaii, so a little you know, islander humor there. But anyway, we're gonna try to make something happen with this lobby, because God knows I can't afford another match like the previous one. Now, right out the gate, the one thing I need to remind you guys about this ship is that it is a meme build. All right, this is not the ideal build. Okay, we're not nickel and dime, or what is it? What's the word? It's not nickel and diming. That's the opposite. That's we're not min-maxing. That's the word. That's the one I was going for. We're not min-maxing anything other than maxing out our torpedo speed. That was what we went for. Maxing out our concealment torpedo speed. That's it. Everything else is probably, you know, you got better choices. But we're going to go straight over into Alpha. We're going to try to grab this cap, and then we're just going to rotate straight around in behind the enemy. And what this does is this throws the enemy off their game. Now, if you do not try to stop the flanking, okay, this is what's going to happen to you. And this goes for any map, doesn't matter just this map. Now, you're going to see I have nothing to worry about here, so I'm going to try to take a couple of blind shots into the thing. I think I'm shooting a little too high, so I adjust a couple of times. I don't want to shoot too much. I just want to kind of, you know, again, throw the enemy off of their game plan, right? Like, I just don't want them to be comfortable. Now, those torpedoes are still tracking for that Yama's snoot over there, and we punch him right on the nose for a flood and a single torp hit for 9,700. So we're about to be about halfway done capping the base, and we're going to move around the island, knowing that there's nothing here. The closest person to me is the destroyer that's in the middle cap, and then the Yoshino that's over there. So I'm going to take this opportunity to just break straight through, like the Bismarck around the North Sea, you know, coming around Greenland or Iceland. I forget which one it is. I think it's Greenland. No, it's Iceland. Iceland. Greenland's the one that's next to Canada, and it actually is icy, and Iceland is the one that's green. It's weird. Greenland and Iceland is the one thing that I will it throws me off every time. Kind of like Taiwan and Thailand. I say the wrong one every time, even though I know the difference between the two places. But just chalk it up to me being a dumb American. That's the way it works, right? But anyway, we're going to move out of the cap. We do have the cap. We're going to move up to a position where we now force the Yamato to come forward. Obviously, he had to damage con the flood, so now he's on permafires and stuff from our team focusing him down. We have 3 battleships behind us. We managed to hit the Yoshino with a few torps as well. And again, all of this is forcing the enemy out of what their plan is. As we land 4 torpedo hits and get a flood on the Yama, now this guy's in a lot of trouble. Now, not only is he on fire, but he's now flooding as well. And so you can see I'm kind of like hesitate on using AP, HE. Like, this AP is very, very good. If you get broadsides, you can absolutely just shred people's broadsides. And that goes for any of the destroyers at high tiers. Like, don't be afraid to use the armor piercing. I say this about light cruisers too, because a lot of people just spam HE. If you've got a broadside, shoot the AP. You'd be surprised how much damage you can put on a target with rapid fire AP out of small caliber guns. I'm telling you. Don't be afraid to use the armor piercing. But now we don't go all the way to the border. We're not trying to stay way out of range here. We're measuring everybody up as best we can by trying to figure out who's the most likely target. Yoshino is now broadside to those guys in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. Keep an eye on those guys, by the way, because they're going to hold the line as best they can over there, while my battleships on my side are still stationary, despite having literally nothing to worry about. Even though there was a destroyer in the middle of the map, that destroyer, you'll see pretty quickly, is, I don't know. That destroyer player played well to get the cap early, but then just kind of threw the game for their team, if you ask me. And I'm not trying to spoil it, but, you know, it's just certain things that now the Yoshino makes the turn that I was just salivating on. Comes out, turns, and eats the torpedoes. We hit him with 2 or 3 torpedoes there. He goes broadside. He did just use his damage con, so we start loading up the armor piercing, and this is what I'm talking about now. It does take me a little while to get used to these guns. They're a little slower than you'd expect, so you got to aim a little bit higher, or aim a little further out front. And we all know that I am not a big fan of the camera in this game, where the zoom level is either too much or too little. You can't get, like, in between. But here you can see I'm getting a lot of shells shattering on the Azuma, just due to the fact that we're hitting gun turrets and stuff. Needed to get those shells much further forward, hit that bow side plating or upper side plating. But we still managed to help get rid of him. The Seattle instead has come out to play. Seattle is not about that life, though. That Seattle, again, there are certain plays that people make that are just bonkers to me, and a Seattle running from a destroyer is one of them. I don't understand that concept, but hey, it benefits my team as you turn and run to the back corner of the map, because now he's not firing his guns at my battleship, you know. He's not shooting at me. That allows me to relocate my ship. You can see there's Yama in the center of the map. This is the Yama that we saw coming in from the left side. Yama kills our Kerr first. So we need to get over here and affect this fight, right? Now, I'm not expecting these torpedoes to land at this range because of the fact that all he has to do is change course at any point during the next 10 years, and he'll dodge them, despite how fast they are. Plus, our team are actively trying to kill him. So, he's low health. There's not a lot of possibilities that he stays alive long enough for those torps to get there. Meanwhile, I know the destroyer is here. I know that there's a Seattle near. So I need to put myself in a position to be careful. We do shoot down the plane. Again, this thing has ridiculous AA. You guys know that. We shoot down the plane. We've got 95,000 damage, and the enemy just lost their Yamato. Fantastic. That's huge guns off the table, and you can see more Yamatos out in the distance with the Seattle. And we know that there's a destroyer coming in our direction because our twisting track, or perceptive, is pointing right off our bow, and so we got to be careful. So here I'm trying to guess at what this Yama might do in the near future. I go ahead and expect him to potentially turn towards me or slow down. And of course, as soon as I launch the torps, he starts turning. And I'm like, well, that's great. But the funny thing is, when you're launching torps from so far away, not only is it possible to dodge the torps, but it's possible to dodge the torps and then rethink your strategy and then drive right back into them. That's the beauty of longer range torpedoes. There's so much time that happens between the time you launch it and the time you don't, or by the time they actually get seen, that it's anybody's guess. Now here, I got AP loaded again. You can see I was testing the AP against destroyers, and I was having pretty solid success on most destroyers that I was running into, with the exception of gearing. Like, I'm getting decent. Ouch! Yama! That was dirty. Owie. Okay, well that changes our plan. Thank God the Jutland decided to drop a smokescreen for me. But that Yama just punched me right in the face. So I'm going to have to try to drop some parting gifts for the Yama on my way out the back door. But I also am very well aware that we have to make something happen here. We got 101,000 damage. We're going to try to use the islands here to get some shots on the Jutland. We do get a shell of HE in there to hit the Jutland. And again, the better choice is probably HE in most situations against the destroyers, with the exception being the Kaba, if they're broadside. Just due to the fact that overpins versus destroyers in a destroyer is just awful. But here you can see we get spotted initially, but he cuts back, and we're going to be able to hit the Yama behind us with the torpedoes that we left as a parting gift. And then we're just using the island cover as best we can to protect ourselves while we shoot at the enemy Jutland. Now that's going to be huge coming up. Now, obviously, we know that the Seattle's over there. He's out of play for us. We don't have to worry about him. We know that the Yama's here, and we have a potential Yama strike coming up. So we go ahead, drop him through the islands, because you never know. You miss all the shots you don't take. So if he decides to go behind the island, we should be able to catch him with some torpedoes, potentially a perma flood. If he decides to come in, I could be in a lot of trouble. So I'm going to go behind the island to my right. Unfortunately, all of our torpedoes managed to get swallowed up by islands, but we do have some torpedoes, or a torpedo that is a hero torpedo headed in the direction of the Yama. Is it going to be the one that hits the target? The short answer is no. He actually reverses, so he got out of the way of that. But it's okay, because we have more torpedoes where that came from. Beauty of staggering your launches is, if you have torpedoes like staggered like this, you almost always have some torpedoes. So those torpedoes we just launched at the Yama, of course, they're going to land. We land 3 out of the 4. Or is it 3 out of 5? I forget. I forget. I think we got a quintuple launcher, so it'd be 3 out of 5. But we land 3 of them, and that's another flood. But he does damage con it. We did get the solo cap. We get a couple of shells out there hitting the Yama, but the next thing I need to do is start trying to get rid of these destroyers who are sitting in the cap, stopping us from getting this points, right? We're running out of time. We're less than 5 minutes left. They have the points advantage by a long shot, and they have 3 caps to our 1. This is not ideal. So I need to be very aggressive here and try to get rid of these. And I come around the corner. We knew the Shima was likely here, so we go ahead and start working the Shima. We go ahead and turn out to try to get the torpedoes, because remember, we staggered the launch, so we always have some torpedoes. This guy's in the cap. We launch those. Jutland comes out. We're going to go ahead and shoot at the Jutland. We should be able to easily kill him with our guns here. So Jutland goes down. He launches his torps at me. I'm already in reverse, anticipating the torps. We do hit the Shima, so then we go ahead and immediately go for the kill on the Shima. We dodge the torpedoes by the slimmest of margins, and somehow manage to pull that back as we get the double strike on the 2 destroyers. And that is a huge point swing for the team. Now, we don't have enough time to win on points, right? Like, at this round. I'm going to try to grab this cap because we need to stop the swing of points as quickly as we can. But I'm not just going to sit here. I'm going to go out and try to spot. And sure enough, we get the Seattle spotted. He's in a position where he could be shot by my teammates. You can see we do still have 1 battleship in the back corner of the map. All right? I cannot help that person other than try to spot here. And you can see I am contemplating shooting the Seattle, but I know I need this cap to stop at least somewhat of the points here. So instead of shooting him when he has a chance to shoot back, I wait till he's about to go dark behind the island. Oh, never mind. I thought I shot. But you can see the shells coming in from the battleship trying to help me out. Not able to quite finish him off. We do get the base cap, though. So that's our second solo cap. And now with 148,000 damage, we have a Marlborough out there on our battleship, and I like those odds. Despite, like, I have no idea what our battleship is that's out there. I have no idea how much hit points he has. I haven't looked at him, so all I can do is hope that that battleship at least is able to finish him off. And you can see that we have a Heisen over at the Alpha cap who still has not moved from that cap. Consider that. He's one of those guys that literally was right there at Alpha when we won that side, and he's just sat there the entire game. Now, if he's capable of shooting things that entire time, fine. So be it. That is a thing. But if he's not, then that's not an ideal situation. You gotta keep yourself in a position to be useful for the team. Fortunately, our battleship in the top of the corner of the map, he's not having to worry about the cruiser. He comes around the island at the perfect time to catch the Marlborough with his pants down, over-angled, and he finishes him off with the Duncan. Okay, beautiful. So here you can see I've got torpedoes out on the Seattle. I need to try to keep this guy spotted, so I'm going to go ahead and start opening fire with the HE. I've got 7,000 hit points, so I can take a hit from this guy, worst case scenario, and you can see my aim is terrible with this thing. I got to get back into playing the Friesland and stuff to get used to my aim. But I tried to turn out here and he does hit us a couple of times, but we did get a hit on him, and we put the torps out there just in case he decides to stop behind the island, but we need to keep pressing the issue. We're almost out of this, right? Like, we've managed to hold on. There's less than a minute and a half left, so we got to get this guy spotted again, and sure enough, he comes around the corner. We've got him spotted. We got the Duncan behind us. We got the battleship on the left. This is a beautiful situation, and everything you ever wanted out of your teammates in the clutch. You can see we're going to go ahead and open fire on him once again. We are spotted. We've got the armor piercing loaded, and he's broadside, so I'm trying to punch him, and he lands every shell on us. So I try to go bow in here, hoping to get skinny, and again, he's going to hit me, get the fire. I'm trying to put the fire out. We're trying to nickel it down him. You can see I'm trying to go hero mode here, just not getting the damage we need. Are we going to finish him? No, but the Duncan comes through in the clutch to finish him off with seconds left on the clock and giving us the come-from-behind victory that we all know and love. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. The Holland is quickly becoming a fun little destroyer for me. It's a frustrating one because it just doesn't have the damage output that you'd love. But I'm telling you what, man, it is a blast to take this ship out there. Top of the leaderboard, 3,700 base XP. So a little bit of a tit for tat. You get to see the Holland in a match where it gets completely dominated by the enemy, and Robin puts up 3,700 base. And then you see me come out in the next match and put up 3,700 base and carry the team on my back to a victory. So it's a very capable ship in the right hands. And if you have fun and keep yourself in position, it'll reward you. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.